This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Big O, you are confident Tua will handle the scrutiny and pressure this season. I'm not worried about pressure or scrutiny. Tua doesn't need to be fixed. He handles pressure fine. The scrutiny he handles fine. Rosendo, his problem is the people around him weren't good enough. That's where you and I have a disconnect with some other people that keep saying things like that. Pressure, that's everybody's got pressure in the NFL to perform. Every quarterback has got pressure to perform. I don't think that has anything to do with it with Tua. I don't think he hasn't had big success in the NFL because of a lack of pressure, because he can't handle the pressure or the expectations or anything like that. It's because he hasn't had the people around him. That's it. And Marino didn't win a title because he didn't have the people around him to win a title. So he says, do you think the rest of the Dolphin players can handle the same pressure around Tua? Yes. Yes. They've won 9 and 10 games. It's not about pressure. It's about execution. We're not talking about watching Jason Tatum get over the hump and there's turnovers and mistakes. And, every year we've heard about them. And this year they finally thought, they broke through and they had a chance and they were turning it over. And no, that's not. The problem with the Dolphins is coaching, preparation, execution, all of those things. And until you fix that, everything will not look good. So think about this. We're panicking, well, not we, but Rosendo is so worried about pressure and all that. And we're talking about a team that won 9 or 10 games, not 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. That they've got a ways to go. No, they've won 9 and 10 games the last 2 years. They're not far away. They have the talent, but now they've added a little more and they've added the coaching to make the difference. So Mike McDaniel has to prove that he can do what Flo could not. That's really the real pressure is on Mike McDaniel, not on Tua, not on Jalen Phillips, not on Tyreek Hill, not on Waddle, not on Mostert. The real pressure is on Mike McDaniel because he's the guy that has to be able to teach people and put them in a position to be successful and scheme it in a way that gives them an advantage. That's what coaching is all about. All right. Coaching is, hey, let's do the spike play here. And Marino's faking the 4th down, and there's a spike play. That's coaching. That's what it's all about. You've got to know when to make the right calls to put your team in a position to be successful. You're in the Super Bowl, you're at halftime, and Sean Payton calls for the onside kick. And because that's what his hunch told him, that it's going to work at this moment because they're not ready for it. And sure enough. And that helps catapult them to a championship. That's what coaching is all about. Coaching is handing it off to Marshawn Lynch at the 1-yard line, not calling a pass play. You put your players in a position to fail. That was coaching. So it goes on the good side and it goes on the bad side. And will Mike McDaniel win challenges, things that Flo could not do? Will Mike McDaniel scheme the offense? Did he find the right offensive line coach? Did he find the right offensive coordinator himself and everybody else that he's got on there? We're going to find that out. That to me, I get tired of the Tua's the problem explanation from people. Tua's not your problem. Your problem is everything else around Tua. Fix everything else, and Tua will be fine. Like I told you, get him a line, get him a run game, and the rest is over. He'll be fine. He'll do everything else you need. He'll take care of the passing game. He'll get the big plays. He'll get big plays downfield for some of you, arm queens out there. He'll do everything you need. But he ain't going to do it just because you want to and there's no help around him. That shit don't exist. Tua was a good QB without a good O-line and no running game. Now, with all new players, I expect greatness from Tua. Boom. The least sacked quarterback in the NFL with the worst line, worst pass block rate, and no running game. The least sacked quarterback. Meanwhile, Tannehill had not one, not two, no, but he had two running backs. He had an offensive line, okay, monster wide receiver, and he was the most sacked quarterback. Listen again. Tannehill had an excellent offensive line, two running backs. Miami didn't even have one. They had two. Derrick Henry got injured. Foreman came in, kicked ass, ran all over the Dolphins, as you all know. Way better than anything the Dolphins had. Still had A.J. Brown. And he was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Think about that. So if you give Tua an excellent running game, you give him an excellent offensive line like the Titans have, and receivers, you think he's going to be the most sacked quarterback in the NFL when he was the least sacked quarterback in the NFL with the worst line, no running game, no coaching? I mean, that's the problem I have with people that think that Tua's broken. Oh, no, it's his confidence. No, it's his teammates' confidence. Brother, they were probably watching the tape every week. That's why this idiot Edward, I had to just get rid of his ass, because they're watching the tape, watching like, this mother effer keeps avoiding sacks. Our offensive line sucks. And look at him dodging and getting rid of the ball quickly. Something, of course, that Tannehill could never do. Can you imagine Tannehill behind this line last year? He was the most sacked quarterback with a line, with a running game, with receivers, with coaching, everything. Can you imagine if he didn't have any of those things and he was here? It would be 3 times. He wouldn't even make it through the season. It's, that's the problem I have with all of this. There's a lack of understanding of the quarterback position in this discussion with Tua. That's the biggest problem with everything gone on with Tua. So many of you don't understand what the quarterback position is all about. You think it requires you throwing 80 yards downfield. And it doesn't. It requires a lot of intelligence. It requires you to be able to read and react quickly, which is something he can do. But you're not going to do it by yourself, because that's the other misconception. Well, no, we need a guy in there that can, have 3 people draped on him and still complete a pass. And what does that get you if he doesn't have the team? Because you don't win anything. So the idea is to understand that this guy can play quarterback at an incredibly high level. He can be a franchise elite quarterback, easily top 10 in this league. But he's not going to be top 10 if you don't assist him with the proper things around him. Now, can he ever be Ben Roethlisberger and Josh Allen and I'll give you a way lesser quarterback, Josh Freeman? Remember that game against the Dolphins with Josh Freeman, that he had like 2-3 guys on him and he would complete passes, things that Ben Roethlisberger, things that Josh Allen can do every week. You know what I'm saying? He'll never be able to do that. Okay? So get that out of your mind. That's not who he is. And by the way, that's not who Drew Brees was. That's not who Roger Staubach was. That's not who Bob Greasy was. There's tons of quarterbacks in the history of the NFL that cannot have people draped on them and completing. But if those guys that have all those guys draped on them and completing don't have a team, they're not winning shit either. So you still need to have everything in order to win. And that's what he has lacked. More than anything else, it's not his arm strength. It's not his size. It's not, what's the other stupid ass thing that I hear? Oh, he doesn't go through his progressions. Like, really? Like, did you watch him at Alabama? He's been doing that since he was a kid. Like, why would anybody say that? There's way too many things that are thrown out about Tua that are absolutely dead ass wrong. And there's a ton of you out there that don't understand what the quarterback position is all about. And you have a misconception that they all look one way, and they don't. So that's really the problem with Tua more than anything else, is that a lot of people out there, they don't know what the quarterback position is, what it entails, what it requires.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.